Hey, Niners fans, let's dive straight into everything happening in San Francisco because this season is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable in recent memory. After a tough loss to Tampa Bay, the team faced a huge setback with Fred Warner going down for the season, a brutal blow for the defense. But there's some encouraging news on the horizon. George Kittle, the All-Pro tight end who has been sidelined since Week 1, is expected to return to practice this Wednesday. If everything goes smoothly with his hamstring recovery, we could see him back on the field Sunday night against the Atlanta Falcons. That matchup has suddenly become massive within the NFC, not just another regular season game. Earlier this week, the Falcons dominated the Buffalo Bills in a surprising performance that had everyone talking, which means Kittle's return couldn't come at a better time. For those who missed it, Kittle made an immediate impact in the opener against Seattle. He played just 21 snaps before injuring his hamstring, but in that limited time, he caught 4 passes for 25 yards and scored a red zone touchdown. His presence alone changes the dynamic of the Niners' offense. Not only does he pose a threat in the passing game, but his blocking skills are a critical factor in the team's run game. Looking back at last season, when Kittle was on the field, the team averaged 4.79 yards per carry. Without him, that number dipped to 4.39, and the rushing touchdowns tell an even more dramatic story. 16 with Kittle on the field versus just 1 without him. He is that versatile piece who can line up in line, motion out, chip a defender, or run a route, forcing defenses to adjust constantly. The Falcons, on the other hand, are peaking at just the right time. They had a rough start to the season, made adjustments to their coaching staff, and now their offense is firing on all cylinders. Bijan Robinson had a monstrous game against Buffalo with 170 rushing yards and a touchdown on 19 carries, and he also contributed in the passing game. Drake London was unstoppable with 10 receptions for 158 yards and a touchdown, and their quarterback spread the ball efficiently, demonstrating that Atlanta's weapons are finally coming together. This is a tough challenge for a Niners defense, missing key pieces, but it also highlights just how critical Kittle's return will be for both the passing and running games. Christian McCaffrey has had to fight through heavy contact on nearly every carry because the offensive line, especially along the interior, has struggled. Kittle's ability to create lanes as a blocker could give McCaffrey the space he needs to make plays before contact, which is vital for sustaining drives. Additionally, there's some optimism that Brock Purdy could start light practice soon, although his turf toe injury has been tricky. If managed correctly, he could be ready to play, but it's important not to rush him. Protecting the quarterback is always the priority, especially when facing a Falcons defense that is starting to get consistent pressure. Meanwhile, players like Ricky Pearsall could return to provide more weapons on the outside, which the Niners need, particularly with Kendrick Bourne and Jawan Jennings banged up. Despite the injuries and chaos, the Niners sit at 4 wins and 2 losses, and the NFC is incredibly tight this year. The top teams are separated by only a couple of games, which means every matchup carries playoff implications. Even with Warner and Kittle sidelined for a portion of the season, San Francisco has shown it can compete against anyone in the NFC. The coaching staff has kept the team in games through strategic play calling and adjustments. And if the Niners can acquire a pass rusher before the trade deadline, they could cement themselves as serious contenders. The talent is there, and the young players are gaining invaluable experience that could pay off big in the postseason. Fred Warner's injury was one of the most painful moments for the team this year. Dislocating and breaking his ankle in the loss against Tampa Bay ended his season, and it happened under unusual circumstances with the Niners only fielding 10 players on that defensive snap. Warner was pointing out a missing defensive end, and that gap was exploited immediately, resulting in his injury. Situations like this, though rare, happen more often than fans realize. Special teams and defensive rotations can be tricky, and in this instance, the absence of one player led to a season-ending injury for one of the team's most critical defensive leaders. Warner's leadership and presence on the field will be sorely missed, but the team is adjusting, and other defensive players like Malik Willis and rookie Marquise Gould are stepping into larger roles to fill the gap. The safety position has been particularly fluid this season. Malik Willis returned against Tampa Bay and played 21 snaps without giving up a catch, showing he can contribute immediately. Marquise Gould has flashed speed, physicality, and playmaking ability, especially near the line of scrimmage, but he has struggled in coverage at times. The Niners are still deciding which combination of safeties will take the field moving forward, which makes the upcoming games critical for establishing consistency in the secondary. The coaching staff is hopeful that these young defenders will grow into their roles, providing the stability needed to support a defense missing key veterans. With the NFC being so open this year, the potential for the Niners to make a deep playoff run is very real. They have shown that they can compete in head-to-head matchups with the top teams, and home field advantage at LEVI'S Stadium will play a big factor down the stretch. This season is a reminder that even when key pieces are sidelined, the right blend of coaching, talent, and strategic adjustments can keep a team in contention. The next few weeks are going to be critical in defining not only the Niners season, but also how this young roster develops under pressure. Looking ahead, the Niners' upcoming stretch of games is going to test both their depth and their ability to adapt on the fly. With Fred Warner out, the linebacking core has to step up in a way that balances aggression with discipline, especially against an NFC that is showing more and more unpredictability each week. Every opponent now understands that the Niners' defense is not the same without Warner patrolling the middle, which means the line and secondary have to communicate flawlessly to prevent explosive plays. This is where experience and preparation collide, and it's also where young players like Marquise Gould can show their worth. He has the raw speed, the awareness, and the physicality to make plays, but coverage mistakes have been costly. The coaching staff has made it clear that nobody's role is guaranteed, so this week's practice reps will be crucial in shaping the defensive backfield for Sunday night. Meanwhile, on offense, the return of George Kittle cannot be overstated. His combination of blocking and receiving ability makes him the ultimate Swiss Army knife in Kyle Shanahan's scheme. Defenses are forced to account for him every single snap, and that alone opens opportunities for other playmakers. Christian McCaffrey has already been grinding through defenders on nearly every carry, but with Kittle in line or motioning out, he is more likely to find the creases needed to gain yardage before contact. The difference between 4.39 yards per carry and 4.79 yards per carry may not seem dramatic at first glance, but when you translate that across the course of a game or season, it's huge in terms of sustaining drives and controlling the clock. And let's not forget about Brock Purdy. He's shown flashes of being an elite pocket passer under Shanahan's system, but protecting him is key. The interior of the offensive line has been a major concern this season, one of the worst in the league, and Kittle's blocking presence will help stabilize that area just enough to give Purdy the time he needs to read defenses and make accurate throws. Wide receiver depth is another storyline heading into Week 7. Kendrick Bourne has been carrying much of the load, while Jawan Jennings has battled through injuries that limited his effectiveness. The potential return of Ricky Pearsall could inject some explosiveness into the passing game, giving Purdy more options to attack a Falcons defense that has proven it can pressure quarterbacks effectively. Atlanta's front seven is starting to show consistency, and their secondary has some big playmakers, so stretching the field horizontally and vertically is essential for keeping the defense off balance. The Niners have to mix in quick passes, screens, and play action to fully capitalize on Kittle's presence in the running game. If the game script falls in their favor early, the combination of a more balanced offense and a revitalized receiving core could make this matchup very competitive despite the Niners' current injury challenges. On the defensive side, the lack of Fred Warner means that blitz schemes, zone drops, and run fits must all be dialed in to near perfection. Malik Willis has shown he can fly around the field and make plays, but coverage responsibilities remain critical. The team is experimenting with different combinations of safeties, and nobody knows who will end up starting alongside him. Gear Brown has shown flashes of versatility, while the rookie Marquise Gould brings speed and athleticism, but the coaching staff wants to see more consistency before finalizing the pairing. Sunday night could serve as a trial by fire, and the way these young defenders respond under pressure will be a major factor in whether the Niners can hold their own against a Falcons offense that has multiple weapons capable of breaking a game open. Special teams have also played an underrated role this season. Situations like Fred Warner's injury underscore how important it is for every player to be accounted for on the field. Mistakes or missed assignments can be the difference between a key stop and a game-changing play. The Niners will need to ensure that all personnel are disciplined and prepared for any situation, because against a team like Atlanta, even a small lapse can lead to big yardage or a critical touchdown. Preparation and mental focus will be just as important as physical execution. The NFC this year has been incredibly wide open, which presents both a challenge and an opportunity for San Francisco. The division is tightly contested, and head-to-head matchups could determine playoff seeding down the line. With Kittle back and Purdy protected more effectively, the Niners have the tools to compete with any team in the conference. The key is keeping the young roster resilient, managing injuries carefully, and leveraging every matchup to build momentum. One strong performance against a team like Atlanta could completely shift the narrative, giving the Niners confidence and momentum heading into the back half of the season. Coaching decisions will also play a significant role. Kyle Shanahan has consistently shown the ability to adapt his game plan based on personnel, opponent tendencies, and in-game situations. With so many moving parts, injuries, emerging players, and key veterans returning, Shanahan's flexibility and creativity could be the difference in close games. This is especially true when trying to maximize the impact of George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, and a potentially returning Brock Purdy. If the team can maintain discipline, execute on fundamentals, and capitalize on explosive plays, they're still very much in the hunt to compete for a playoff spot. In addition, the mental aspect of this season cannot be understated. Players like Kittle and McCaffrey set the tone with leadership and intensity, showing younger teammates how to handle adversity. The team's ability to stay focused in high-pressure situations, especially without key defensive leaders like Warner, will be critical. Every snap, every alignment, and every decision on the field carries weight, and the margin for error is smaller than ever. The young players are gaining playoff-level experience earlier than expected, which could pay dividends in the long run. Offensively, mixing in motion, play action, and creative blocking schemes with Kittle back on the field will force the Falcons to respect multiple threats simultaneously. That unpredictability is exactly what Shanahan's system thrives on. McCaffrey's versatility as both a runner and receiver adds another layer of complexity for opposing defenses. If the Niners can find early success in establishing the run and keeping the Falcons off balance, it could open up explosive opportunities downfield for Bourne, Pearsall, or Kittle himself. The combination of timing, spacing, and execution will define how effective the offense is in this critical matchup. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are getting louder around the league, and they all point toward one electrifying possibility: Tyreek Hill in red and gold. According to several insiders close to the situation, the San Francisco 49ers may be preparing to make an audacious move for the Miami Dolphins superstar receiver. If true, this would send shockwaves through the NFL and quite possibly reshape the balance of power in the NFC. The rumor began quietly earlier this week when Hill was spotted in the Bay Area, reportedly attending an event near LEVI'S Stadium. Since then, social media has exploded with speculation. Fans have shared blurry photos, flight records, and even videos claiming to show Hill meeting with 49ers personnel. While none of it has been confirmed, the buzz has grown into a full-blown frenzy. For the 49ers, adding CHEETAH to an offense already featuring Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and Brandon Ayuk sounds almost unfair. Head coach Kyle Shanahan is known for his creative offensive schemes, and the idea of unleashing Hill's speed in that system is the stuff of defensive coordinators' nightmares. If this happens, just cancel the season, one NFC coach joked anonymously. Hill, for his part, has been coy. When asked about the rumors during a podcast appearance, he simply smiled and said, "The Bay's got good vibes, man. You never know what could happen." That single sentence was enough to ignite a storm of speculation online. Contractually, the move would be complicated. Hill's deal with the Dolphins still has multiple years left, and Miami would likely demand a king's ransom in return. Still, the 49ers have shown before that they're not afraid to swing big when the moment feels right. For now, nothing is official, but the idea of Tyreek Hill streaking down the LEVI'S stadium turf, sunlight glinting off the red and gold, has fans dreaming and defenders trembling. Whether it's smoke or fire, one thing's certain. The Bay Area hasn't buzzed like this in a long time. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.